Miller is very famous for his uncanny ability to create these sort of analogies. I mean, he's sort of one of probably the country's most successful and famous analogy comedians, right?
As Gallagher is to Smashing Fruit.
Yes. But here
and he also does bata. My favorite thing he does, he goes bata, bata.
I don't know what that is, but
when he gets excited.
Oh, bata! Okay, gotcha. I am literally just outside of my reach right now is a live-action Dennis Miller doll made in 2003 because he was one of the right wings. No, don't take it off. One of the right wings heroes back when we were going to invade Iraq, because he was talking about the French can't find truffles in
invading
France.
Iraq.
Okay, so
Billy O'Reilly.
Billy O'Reilly.
Billy, show that seal again. For a second.
I wanted your take on this. This is the county of Los Angeles.
Now,
Billy.
Bill again. For a second.
I wanted your take on this. This is the county of Los Angeles with Grace Slick in the middle of Jefferson Airplane, as I mentioned.
No, that's Caitlyn Jenner.
All right, and then they get the mission. They want that out. There's a goat, Miller, and a salmon, and then a ship from the conquistadors. But they don't want the mission.
Well, listen, I can tell you one thing. If they want to get rid of the mission, it's appropriate because I live here, and this is definitely now a state without a mission.
Pause it, so that our laughter doesn't overcome the. It's. Tell me, Andy, you're out in California. It's a state without a mission. Am I right?
Well, the thing is, I love how much he laughs at his own material. It gets me every time.
And then Caitlyn Jenner. It's funny because Caitlyn.
Hold on, Sam. Hold on.
Okay, let's.
It's not Grace Slick. It's the Caitlyn Jenner. That Billy baby booby picky back.
This is. I mean, they prepped this, right? Like, wait, but let's pretend like we're gonna just keep this up there and just let's go back and forth on this, baby. All right, good.
It's in context.
Yes, it is, my friend.
All right, you've been watching the Republican primary battle, and you say?
I was shocked today to find out that John Kasich is in the third year of his first term as president. I didn't even know that, but he came on and said that today, and I thought, geez, this guy who puts some positive stuff on it. Can I tell John Kasich something? Donald Trump gives speeches in airplane hangars, and John Kasich gives speeches in closets surrounded by hangars, if he wants to know where he's
because he used the hangars.
And whenever he talks about Trump being an egomaniac, Billy, do you ever watch a Kasich speech? To me, he seems so egomaniacal. He always talks about this effect he has on people and how shocked he is. And I don't think he realizes that he tries to distance himself by one step from it. But when he says, I met a 17-year-old girl and she was shaking, I said, why are you shaking? That's as egomaniacal as just saying I make a 17-year-old girl shake.
Pause it.
He forgot the joke. He forgot to add the. I'm sure he had the joke. He just forgot to add the joke.
Do you think he's drunk? Do you think he's drunk in that clip? Because that was incomprehensible.
Even by his standards.
Is it Kasich?
No, it's Kasich. But but I mean, I've made that mistake. That's not that big of a deal. I mean,
that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. But the hanger joke.
It's amazing to me he's trying to pass himself off as the everyman when he seems like really full of himself.
I think he's a VP candidate, though. I predicted that Ted Cruz will try to get him to agree to the second slot and then go up against Trump as a twosome.
Well, he's got second slot written all over him. Now, as far as Trump goes, I think
pause it. Yeah, this guy's only going to come in as vice president.
And then, O'Reilly, in a way, is like, let me take the temperature down.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I want to pull this back to a serious conversation. Seems like he's angling for the second spot. Yeah, he'll probably be second in the race for the top of the ticket. 2 spots.
I like somebody who's funny nasty. He took that in out of orbit But then he's supposed to jettison those, and I think he's mistimed the jettison, and he looks stupid. And he should remember that he wears angry and nasty better than he wears stupid. Now, they might have given him a Wonka ticket back in with his Colorado thing, because he can beat that drum for a while. And I also think he should go...
All right, pause it. Wait a second. I just want to catch everybody up.
What's a Wonka ticket?
The golden ticket to get back into the chocolate factory where they bang the drum after they have released the rockets. Wow.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of making comedians submit like a transcript of what they're going to talk about. This guy should have been forced to submit. He should have been worked with a segment producer for 2 months before they allowed him on the air.
I'm dropping the extra fuel supplies as we get through the stratosphere and bang the drunk with the Whopper ticket and get the extra chocolate sauce.
We should waterboard people by drone. And then when they say, oh, waterboarding isn't something we do by drone, you can say, you're right, we only vaporize them into a pile of chiclets by drone. God forbid, we might want to shoot some water up their nose. So I think you can take that approach, too.
He literally has got nothing, and he is just, something will happen. I'll put chiclets or chuckles or Beecham's gum in there, and that will save this segment.
This thing is total double mint. Am I right, Bill?
Let me ask you a question. Is that what drones do? They waterboard people? Is that how the drones work?
I don't think you get what's going on.
I like Cleveland, but no, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Miller and I went to a Bavarian restaurant. Remember that? We went to a Bavarian
that was
restaurant.
Great.
Yeah, it was
That
great.
was
man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We
didn't need 30 more seconds. I apologize. He had a joke that was funny. He was like, Charles Manson's coming up for parole, and, no better way to tell the parole board you got your own personal trip together than to carve a swastika on your forehead. You know?
The American capital is a communist country. Only one person on earth can figure that out, and he joins us now from Santa Barbara.
Can we pause for 1 second?
What?
First
Someone
off,
explain it. Run that down.
okay.
What happened?
First off, we're gonna start with that is the most lackluster I have ever seen Bill O'Reilly. It looks
He knew he was going to get out.
And Dennis Miller comes on, and he looks like he just got out of bed.
He looks extremely disheveled
He looks angry.
and like confused or something.
Here is the only man in the world who can figure it out. It's Dennis Miller. Here we go.
He joins us now from Santa Barbara, California. Miller, what's going on with the Cherry Coke Buffett thing?
Well, that's a recent thing, Billy. I know for many years the face on Cherry Coke was Bill Clinton, but they went over to Buffett not long ago, sort of a Colonel Sanders type thing. I think they wanted Jimmy Buffett. He didn't want to play, so they went to Warren.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Jimmy Buffett.
Well,
What's the Bill? What about the
they
Bill
changed the
Clinton
people.
thing? Is that just like it was just?
What
like,
does that mean?
Is
That might
just-
have just been true.
Is that just back to the 90s?
No, I think it
Okay.
was a sexual thing. I think it was a sexual. The face of Cherry Coke, get it? He slept with people.
Yeah, because he's Bill Clinton and he likes the girls, so Cherry Coke. Even when
I don't
I'm
think he even finished
completely
the joke.
disheveled
I
and
think he-
exhausted, I've killed.
So they went to Warren Buffett. Chinese are an enigmatic people. Now, listen, there's a growing trend to lump together.
pause it. The Chinese are enigmatic people. Like, just imagine, we don't know where the tribbles came from.
Billo, when you're going nowhere in a joke like this, here's what you do. A little old comedy secret. Oriental jokes. Chopsticks, ching chong ding dong, that sort of thing.
You know, Bill, I will also say the Chinese are very suspicious and hard to understand people. But I'll also tell you, I saw a guy who peed himself who had no home. He's reading this stuff off to the right, to the left of the camera, and he's having to conduct himself with his hand as he reads it. I saw the Jeff Bezos bull on the beef thing, and then I saw a guy next to me who had a container with a picture of another guy eating another Chinese dish.
But all that he cared about was, I know Beijing beef is a winner. How do I get to Beijing beef? That's all I need.
Now, I've been going back and forth because, of course, they have rice at Japanese restaurants. Playing around with the old Susan rice, I call her sushi rice.
I was eating my kamikaze Kong Pao kamikaze World War II chicken.
Wait a
stolen
second.
that.
Maybe we could bring in marijuana legalization and I could say, I see weed and then sushi rice.
But then I know I'd have to work in a Denmark reference because I always work 20 years behind schedule.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is? This material you're writing sounds like it's coming from people who still have the will to live.
Leafy refreshment, and Brits usually don't drop everything unless there are rumors of new Meghan Markle beach photos. Speaking of the beach, let's not forget iced tea. Is there anything better on a hot day than a tall glass of iced tea? Oh yeah, lemonade. But how great is it to pour that lemonade into a half a glass of fresh brewed iced tea for a refreshing Arnold Palmer? Try doing that with an iced coffee. And that is the minute.
Bop, bop.
Oh, my God. It's like an angry Larry King. Angry Larry King is back.
I don't even, I mean, seriously, guys.
Do yourself
Bop,
a favor.
bop.
Do yourself a favor, Michael, and try some tea.
I don't even,
I wasn't prepared for
Milwaukee,
that. We should have
Milwaukee,
listened to that
Wisconsin.
beforehand. I'm like I was speechless during the. Wait, he's doing the. I'm gonna use my best. I'm gonna boil down all my tea material to just 1 minute, and I'm gonna lay it all in there. I'm gonna concentrate this baby. We're gonna sell it. It's a good thing people are moving now to Florida, or they would get toppled because people would think they were statues.
I like where you're going, but the reference is way too current.
It's like calling it a Skotsky out there in the freeway.
What that hurricane's a little bit it's a little bit too big and a little bit too uncomfortable for me. Therefore, it's time to hit the road.
Well, listen, if somebody's using a fan in Bermuda and they pick it up in Florida, I'm out. You know, I'm one of those guys. I'm out quicker than later.
What?
But I
What
also
did you say?
understand people
What
have
did he
big-
just say?
Wait, pause it. If somebody's using a fan in Bermuda and they
Yeah.
pick it up and I'm out of here,
This fan came from Bermuda. I can tell. There's black people's skin oils on it. Time to vacate, see? Bada bing.
I just want to note that this, for everyone to remind you, this is sped up. Dennis Miller is
this sped up?
like
This is
catatonic.
literally, this is
Yes.
not amazing.
That was 1.25.
Are you telling me that's
my
for
God.
real?
That's extraordinary.
He is catatonic. What is happening?
Hey, so Dennis, when do you leave Florida? What do you think? Well, I'll tell you, if there's a fan that comes from Trinidad, see, I'm on my way out of here with a 1 ticket to Sun Valley. But if not, maybe I'll be eating some biscotti. Well,
Spin stops
I
here, tour
can't believe
27.
it's still going. Can you?
He's a climate change
This is
denier,
the-
I'm assuming, right?
this I actually feel like the radio host was made the fatal flaw here. Like we got to cheer this up. Who can we get? Dennis Miller.
A depressed
We've got funny
shut-in.
bad Dennis
Let's
Miller on the line. Dennis, have you ever had to evacuate during your act?
well, evacuation in a certain sense, we're all evacuating in slow motion towards the inevitability of death, see? Anyways, if Tampa's still standing, and that's a statue joke right there, which I won't even spell out. But it's there.
I read that we have not had a major hurricane make landfall in the States for, and I might be apocryphal here, 14 years. If that's the case, then
Yeah.
God's looking down on us because that's an amazing gap. But as far as where you pump gas, it sounds like the guy was pumping a little gas too, and not all of it was ethanol.
Let me just say, you had a little bit of ethanol. I'll tell you, that's not the kind of gas you get when you combine gasoline with ethanol.
God's looking down on us, and here I'm going to very, very indirectly make fun of Rush Limbaugh.
That sounds like they weren't pumping gas, but they were using lithium crystals.
Man, I have this. Miller is extremely attentive to being implicated in any kind of lawsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, did you notice the way he perked up there? He sounds like he was on Ambien the whole interview, and all of a sudden the guy's like, "I'm talking to a guy at gas stations. That's hurricanes don't exist because of liberals." Well, you're gonna have to determine that on
Make
your
your
own.
own call. Make your own. Didn't he say that? That's your call.
That's your
your
call. I don't mean.
That's the funniest when you have a comedian come on and go, look, I have no comment on that matter at this juncture.
That's something you're gonna have to refer to my attorney for.
We're talking to Dennis Miller.
Anyways.
So you're going to be at Amalie Arena with Bill O'Reilly, a good friend of yours. What was the idea and the genesis behind this tour, and what are you and Bill looking to discuss and accomplish?
Let's see. Accomplish? I don't know. I think that makes it more like a League of Nations meeting. I'm hoping to get some.
League of Nations.
League of Nations. I remember when they were around 70 years
The
ago.
League of
That's
Nations.
even
It's
before
like
he was
Human League.
born.
What was the League of Nations like? Human League when their lead singer left.
Why cite League of Nations?
Welcome to the League of Nations. That was when we tried to have international law before black people could vote.
You make it.
Made a lot more sense. But,
You make it
and he's
sound
yelling
like-
at his wife.
Like you make it sound like a meeting of the Roman Senate where we have prefects coming in from the outer territories.
I'm going to do this joke again. Who knew the no spin zone meant don't move? You
Very good.
stink is
Dennis
why.
Miller, the Spin
Your
Stops Here
show
Tour 2017.
stinks.
Wow.
He
show
won.
was
He won.
terrible.
He got the
His
host as
co-host sounded
depressed as
depressed.
him by the end.
Yeah,
Everything goes,
exactly.
Hey, now get some smart mouth mints. I'm Dennis Miller for Smart Mouth.
Did you hear how the host went from, Dennis Miller, what should we do in Florida? By then, like, all right, the Spin Stops Here tour will be coming in a couple of weeks.
It's and that was Dennis Miller's suicide note. And now we're just gonna go take a quick break.
I feel like that's almost
No, I feel like
could happen.
Almost.
It's possible.
That's what was so nice about him talking about his trip. It was the one time that we've listened where
Little
where everybody
enjoyment.
just like that feeling like it's. I'd like to try and leave people like with the same way that they feel after Godfather 2, where it's all fun.
I'm just sitting in a chair like Michael Corleone, except that's a better reference than I usually provide, and I have no excuse. First rule of improv for Miller: say no.
Yes.
No. I don't even do news things anymore. No.
Second, there's somebody else in the room.
Yes, but they're
Why?
maybe
What
two
are they
people.
doing? Like he's got a locked off camera. He's barely on mic. What is the other person doing in there?
He hired the guy who laughed at Tom Snyder. Is who he hired. For.
Probably the exact same guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Wait a second.
What he's pitching.
Wait a second. The Dennis Miller Zone? It's the
Yeah,
complete
DMZ.
rip-off
That's
of,
his. That's his catchphrase.
Of who?
of the No Spin Zone.
Right.
Jeez.
Oh, I bet they had a big fight
He's
about
so
that.
bad.
They had
I
a
think
big-
he treats
Until-
Bill so badly.
Until he did that smug little laugh, it was almost too depressing to be funny. So I'm really glad he did that because now I can have fun with it again.
The only way we were going to get the French to go into Iraq is to tell them we thought there were truffles in there.
Oh, someone buy that for me.
We're going to go into Iraq and the truffle. You wonder why he's depressed? Because there's a doll out there that has a recording of him saying that.
That is the high water mark of his life, Sam.
And quit bringing up our forefathers and saying they were civil libertarians. Our founding fathers would have never tolerated any of this crap. For God's sakes, they were blowing people's heads off because they put a tax on their breakfast beverage. And it wasn't
Breakfast
even coffee.
beverage is the funny word there. Breakfast beverage.
That is-
Excuse me, Chacho. I don't think I need a tax on my chamomile chai thai laka.
I think we know what his